So today's video is first impressions on the Leica SL2 camera. Hello, welcome back, Matt from MrLeica.com. Now if you saw my last video, I showed the Leica SL compared to my Leica CL and Leica M240. Now what I didn't disclose was I was also testing the Leica SL2. So today's video is my first impressions on the Leica SL2 camera. I'll do a quick Leica SL versus Leica SL comparison, kind of stats wise, to give you kind of some idea of what the SL2 will offer compared to the SL model. And then we'll look at some sample photos from two different model shoots. So firstly, a big thanks to Leica UK and the Leica Mayfair store in London particularly, because they kindly lent me the Leica SL2 to try out. Okay, so if we compare the SL versus SL2, the Leica SL2 was released in 2019 compared to the SL, which was released in 2015, so it's 4 years newer. The SL2 offers a crazy 46.7 megapixels. Now that is a huge step up compared to the Leica CL and Leica M240 that I use, that are both 24 megapixels, and also the Leica SL, which is also 24 megapixels. So the SL2 really does step it up a gear. Additional benefits the SL2 gives us is the EVF electronic viewfinder now has 5,760 megapixels compared to only 4,400 megapixels of the SL. The SL2 gives us a 3.2 inch touchscreen LCD display on the back of the camera compared to the standard 3 inch which is found on the CL, the SL and the M240. The M240 is not touchscreen, but the CL and the SL are both touchscreen. Now if you use the Leica SL with SL lenses, you can have image stabilization lenses on the SL. What this means is if you use manual focus lenses such as the lenses I use, you have no image stabilization. A big benefit of the Leica SL2 is it has in-body stabilization, meaning any lens you put on the SL2 will have image stabilization. So that can be Leica M lenses, that can be Leica R lenses, that can be Nikon lenses, vintage Canon LTM lenses. Every single lens you use on the SL2, you have the benefit of the image stabilization. What that means is in reality you can use a slower shutter speed handheld and still get sharp images. That's not something I tested because the day we were shooting, it was a bright day, so there was more than sufficient daylight. Other difference is the Leica SL battery is said to give 400 photos per battery charge, whereas the SL2 only gives 370 photos per charge. The reason the SL2 probably has a lower battery capacity is because there's probably more electronics in the camera, such as image stabilization, larger LCD display, all of which are using up more juice, more electric. But 370 is not really that different to 400, so not really a change there. Now in terms of the size and look of the camera, at first glance the SL and SL2 are very similar. The SL2 has a slightly more comfortable grip, but I didn't find the SL uncomfortable to hold in the slightest. Ergonomically, they're pretty much the same in terms of shape when holding the camera. One difference with the SL2 is the camera now weighs 953 grams compared to only 847 grams for the SL. So the SL2 is now around 100 grams heavier than the SL, which is already said to be a heavy camera compared to say a Leica M or in my case a Leica CL, both of which are much lighter. If you want to see how the Leica SL compares to a M240 or Leica CL, see my last video and I'll link it at the end of this video because that gives you side-by-side comparison CL versus M240 versus SL. Okay, so that's a very basic summary of the SL versus SL2. Obviously I could probably talk for 2 hours on just the camera spec, but I was more interested in the image quality and how the cameras were to use than just how the cameras looked on paper. And one important fact when it comes to any camera is how much does it cost. Now because the Leica SL was launched back in 2015, you can pick up a used Leica SL camera for around £1,850. Now in contrast, because the Leica SL2 was only released at the end of 2019, it is still a very new camera, so there are not many used Leica SL2s in the marketplace. From doing some reading before this video, I really struggled to find hardly any used Leica SL2 camera bodies. As such, the price is much higher. A used Leica SL2 costs you £4,829. Seems to be the cheapest price I could find on the internet. Now if you want to buy the Leica SL2 new, they cost £5,300. So because it's a recent release, there's not a huge difference between the new price and the used price. Okay, so how does the Leica SL2 compare to the Leica SL? So Leica UK kindly loaned me the Leica SL and the Leica SL2, but I borrowed one camera, one after the other. So first I shot the Leica SL, which is my last video. I'll link it at the end of this video. And then second, I use the Leica SL2. So my plan was use the SL first and then use the SL2 second. After 2 hours of using the Leica SL, did I then notice a difference when picking up the SL2? So let's look at that. Did I notice the increased weight? No. Did I really notice the different ergonomics or slight changes made to the camera? No. Did I notice the different menu system? Because the SL has no writing on the buttons and the SL2 has buttons more similar to the Leica CL, which is the camera that I use mostly. I noticed the buttons and they were kind of familiar to me, but in a real world environment, you get used to menus quite quickly. So again, not a big deal. But yes, I'd say the SL2 buttons are improved over the SL buttons. Did I notice the bigger LCD display? No, I didn't even realize it was bigger until checking the spec after the shoot. So did I see any noticeable difference between the SL and the SL2? Yes, the EVF. The EVF on the SL2 is fantastic. The extra resolution on the SL2 EVF viewfinder is really noticeable, and when you bring it up to your eye, everything looks kind of super clear, and it's really easy to critically focus for kind of my work, my portraits. Yes, it was easy enough to focus on the SL for critically focusing, and the process to manually focus a lens on the SL and the SL2 is very similar, using the joystick, which is kind of a button sticking out the back of the camera, kind of top right. I use the same process to zoom in to critically focus on the SL and the SL2. Just the main difference was it was really clear when you saw the image through the EVF on the SL2. Equally, when you play back the images on the SL2, the images looked really crisp on the LCD. I think the fact that the photos are 46.7 megapixel compared to 24 megapixel probably helped with the fact that they seem to have more punch when you looked on the back of the camera. It was like, wow, you could really see a difference. So when holding the camera during a photo shoot, if I ignore the crisper photos on both the EVF and the rear LCD display and the improved button layout for my taste, I didn't really notice a huge difference. So I guess the question is, did I see a difference in image quality? So here are a series of portraits shot with the Leica SL2. I'll link the model again below in the description. The light was changing constantly during the day, the sun coming in and going out behind clouds. And we had moved location for these photos. Now as a comparison, I also shot the Leica CL in this location. Now you will have seen these photos before my last video, but I'll just include them here for completeness because they're more comparable to the SL2 photos because they were shot at the same time, so the light should be similar. Now for the second model, I'll link her Instagram again in the description below. First, SL2 photos. So all the photos I'm showing with you today were shot in RAW mode, ISO 200, with a Voigtlander Nocturne 35mm f1.2 at f1.2, daylight white balance, fully manual mode, shot in RAW, and then I just applied my Leica SL preset to all the images. Now because the Leica SL2 has got more megapixels, I had to kind of tweak my SL preset and then save that as an SL2 preset. Because I found the extra megapixels, I was able to sharpen the images more without them looking over sharpened. And then in comparison, I also used the Leica M240 during the second model shoot. So here's some photos shot with the Leica M240. Again, the same Voigtlander 35mm f1.2 lens at f1.2. Using the M camera, again, I found it much faster to focus because there's no blackout from the EVF as described in the Leica SL video. So those are the photos, Leica SL2 versus Leica CL in the same location, and then Leica SL2 versus Leica M240 in the same location. Now I guess for completeness you might want to see the Leica SL2 versus the Leica SL. Now sadly, as I said, I didn't have both cameras to shoot side by side, so I cannot compare identical images. So what I'll do, I'll quickly share again some SL2 photos and then some Leica SL photos, all with the same model. Hopefully it'll give you some idea of whether you can tell a difference or not tell a difference. So again, all these photos are shot in RAW. The only difference is the Leica SL2 photos will probably sharpen slightly more than the Leica SL photos because of the higher resolution. I use my basic Leica SL preset first on the Leica SL2 images, but then felt I needed to sharpen them more to get the look that I'm kind of used to from any of my other digital cameras. So did you notice the difference between the SL and the SL2 photos, or the SL2 and the CL, or the SL2 and the M240? Please leave me a message with your thoughts below. I'd be interested to see which camera people think perform the best, and whether the Leica SL2 is worth the extra £3,000 kind of use price versus the SL. Personally, as I say, using the camera in my hand, the SL2 looked noticeably sharper through the viewfinder and on the screen. But the final images, I didn't notice a huge difference when viewing them at kind of normal viewing size. Obviously, one benefit of having so many megapixels is you can crop in much closer after taking your picture and not lose the kind of image quality. For me, 24 megapixels is enough because I'm used to using things like the Leica M8, which is only 10 megapixels. So for me, 24 megapixels is plenty for my needs. So my first impressions on the Leica SL2, very nice camera, very nice to use through the EVF, which is important to me for critically focusing my portraits. It did feel a bit heavier in the hand compared to my M camera, which I'm used to, or the CL, but not too heavy that I wouldn't buy the camera. Obviously, I was using M lenses, making it a much smaller setup compared to using, say, SL lenses, which makes the whole camera much bigger. Now, this review only covered a fraction of what the Leica SL2 can offer, so I'd probably recommend that if you're looking to buy a Leica SL2, to look at other videos which cover the camera in depth and with using the autofocus SL lenses. That's it for this video. Please give me the thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll know to do some more. And I'm hoping to test more digital Leica cameras in the near future, and then we can see which is the best of the best if you're looking to buy a digital Leica camera. I'm interested for my own benefits, but then it's always good to share it with you guys as well. As always, feel free to drop me a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you've not yet subscribed, please feel free to do so. I've almost reached 3,000 followers, and I've said to my existing subscribers, if I can get to 3,000, I'll look to release either Patreon or a similar service to give you even more from me and to hopefully grow the channel even further. So I'm excited to see what the next few months brings. That's it. See you soon. Bye.